humble, as we like to say. How was basic training for you? Did you, because I know I had a hard time just because I was from New York City.
Right.
I thought I was Billy Badass, and then those drill songs fucking roughed me up a little bit. How was that experience for you?
It was cool. Yeah. It was cool. So everything, anytime I'm presented a challenge, I'm always like, try me. You know what I mean? So, whether it was the push-ups or the running or the smoking, I was like, try me. Like, let's go. You can't really break me. The David Goggins before David Goggins was the thing. Not that I do all that crazy stuff anyway. But so it really wasn't that bad. I think the biggest thing for me is I have always had an issue with authority. Not necessarily in a bad way, but I really hate being told what to do when I can see a clear path of a better option. And I think that was the biggest struggle for me through basic, is because I had to realize that this is my reality for the next X amount of years potentially. But I would say that's probably it. Basic is okay because it's so structured that as long as you just kind of get accept that structure, I mean, it's a smooth process, man. It really is.
Yeah, because once I stopped bugging the system, like 4 weeks in, and it was smooth transitioning, and then got to my unit, and it was like, oh man, I do PT, I go to the range and shoot, and then you pay me, you give me a place to sleep, and I was like, yeah, sign me up, man. 20 years later, Now we'll jump to SFAS real quick, because again, you mentioned that physically, like you didn't have any issues getting ready for selection,
right?
So we'll talk about the very first week, because when did you go to selection?
Oh man, it was early 2012.
Okay, 2012. So they were still doing like all your physical gates, probably.
Yes.
Week 1, and Land Nav, and then team week. So going into team week, going into week 1.
Yeah.
How was that? As far as all the physical gates and all that stuff that you had to do.
So because I had to go into the 18 X-ray program, I was one of the younger classes of the SOP-C, the preparation course that were there. They actually made me go through SOP-C as part of that program. So I'd already kind of been in shape. I reclassed infantry, so I was already in shape. I went there. It was a little bit different when you come back as, in your reclassing versus going as a new boot. So I got some opportunities to stay in shape there. I got to bypass airborne because I was already airborne qualified, and then I got dropped off at McCall to just train and prepare, and still had SOP-C. So by the time that first physical gate came through, it was easy, right? It's because we've been doing it for X amount of months at this point, training specific to those events. What I did see is there were a ton of people getting injured. The injuries was really what was stopping them, because they were, now there's some people that showed up not in shape, and I don't understand that at all. Like, they can't even do pull-ups. I'm like, why'd you even come? You know what I mean? Exactly. But a lot of people got injured. So my focus was, hey, I'm going to train to make sure that I can endure the pain and the resistance and all that good stuff throughout selection.
Okay, I got you. So week 1 wasn't an issue for you. Week 2, Land Nav. How was that for you? So
Land Nav was, because up to this point, Army Land Nav, if you're not an actual combat unit, it's chump change. You can walk the streets and everything. You can have buddies. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? So it was, I got all my kinks out during SOP-C at that time. All the kinks out. I started really, really understanding it. So by the time I get there, I found all my points, right, but it was like right on time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember, because I think it was a 3-day event. It started at in the morning early, and then it went through, and then you did it again. And if you had failed, you get another opportunity. I believe. But I was finishing, but I mean, it was like 5 minutes left, 15 minutes left. Yeah, very close. But I made it through.
Yeah, and then team week. Now everybody, from what I've heard, get their ass whooped by team week, to include myself.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, you were X-ray when you went through, which a lot of X-rays still have something left in the tank by that point. How was that experience for you?
It was interesting. Physically, this is where the challenge really started to come into play, and this is where I was talking about the maturity thing. So by maturity, specifically, when we're young, hell, even in boot camp, honestly, and we're in our military careers, a lot of things we kind of focus inwards towards us. I can be the best at PT. I can do whatever. But team week, you got to scratch all of that. And so there was times where I would think like, oh, you know what? My buddies are struggling. Let me try to carry this whole log. or whatever. But I sit there and I start carrying, I'm putting all my energy out, then all of a sudden I'm burnt.
Yeah.
And now for the last half of the event, I can barely pull my weight. So it really humbled me really quickly, like, hey, we all have to be at the same wavelength. We all have to be at the same energy level and all this other good stuff in order for us to succeed. So that's where the majority of my maturing, if you will, really happened, was during the team phase of it all.
Gotcha.